Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 19 of the DeAgostini Star Wars Millennium Falcon build. Scale is 1:43. In this part, I'll be attaching the circuitry to operate the ramp and some of the LEDs. I'm also going to be adding more framework and building a little bit more on the hull plating. And if all goes well, hopefully I'll be able to open up the ramp and see that in operation. So let's jump into this and see how we get on. Starting off with issue 57, and this issue is dealing with the circuit board to operate everything. As you can see, the circuit board comes freely formed, so I don't have to do anything. All I'm having to do is attach it to the frame, which is by 4 screws. Next is to put in a protective socket. So this is just like a poly cap, and it goes in where one of the Scotch markings is on the Falcon, on the lower half of the Falcon. So it's quite good they thought about it this way, because it's completely disguised in this little Scotch mark. It is a little bit awkward to place in. I've held it in place with a little bit of super glue. It doesn't actually suggest that you should do this, but the fit wasn't brilliant on it. And once I got it through, there's a little cap that goes on over a location point, and that's held into place with a tapping screw, a wide head tapping screw, just to keep everything secure. I then have to place in the main AC adapter, and this is what the little housing does. Just protects this area, and the adapter goes on two mounted location points, and once more they are secured with 2 screws. I'll then connect the wire to the circuit board, paying close attention to the instructions, because each one will go onto a different port. Next to be connected is the motor for the ramp and the LED light, which is already on the motor. I didn't actually have to place that on. So then it's time to connect the power. As you can see, I've taken out the battery pack from its housing to fit this. So I've flipped the model over now to test the ramp. The initial test I didn't show on camera. I thought it wasn't working. It was just that I pressed the wrong button. That's why I didn't show it. I was worried that I'd really done something wrong. But there's 2 switches to operate certain circuits, and I just pressed the wrong one. The little part that's on the mat there, that just fell off, and I'll be reattaching that later on. And also on the ramp, the little foot plate that swings up, if you remember, that came off in an early edition. I'm yet to fit that part. And then it's time to test, and as you can see, there's the ramp coming down now. As you press the on button, the LED light comes on and the ramp comes down. To close it, I simply press the button again, and you can see it going up and closing. So that's quite a successful test. Now it's on to issue 58, and in this issue I'll be adding some little parts onto the outer plating. And like with the other issues, there's various little components I'm having to place here. And as you can see, some components are coming from previous issues. So issue 56 and 55 I'll be using here, as well as the current issue. There isn't much going on each main plate here, just the odd bit and pieces to go on. So on to issue 59, and as you can see, there's more framework to be added to this issue, and this will be roughly half the frame built for the upper section of the hull. As I'm building the section for the hull, and I'm going to be quite careful here, because a lot of the sections are only held together with one bracket, which makes it a bit flimsy to start off with. It does obviously all tie in eventually, but at the initial start of this issue, I have to be quite careful what I'm doing. In fact, I didn't like how the whole frame was sitting at this point with the new bits added on. So I decided to attach it to the inner ring straight away. Now, the instruction didn't suggest you do this. It said build the frame before attaching it to the inner ring, but it was just putting too much pressure on the other joints on the frame, and I didn't want them to snap. Hence why I decided to add them to the ring now. I also can't understand why it leaves the middle section out while you're building the frame, then putting it in later on. I would have thought it would be better building from the ring outwards, just to keep that stability within the frame. This way, I'm having to really squeeze these middle sections in to get them to fit. I've gone back over it to see whether I've misaligned it apart and so forth, but I didn't. It's just the nature of the build, and having to squeeze these in, sort of almost force them so they all line up, which is a bit concerning because on the lower section, one of the metal frames did snaps where the screw goes in, and I had to repair that with some super glue, and I didn't put a lot of pressure on that whatsoever. So I'm starting to get a little bit concerned when I go to put on the plating, there may be too much pressure on the frame. So I'll have to be extremely careful here. And this is will end part 19 of the build, while I'm just adding the last segments to the framework. And once everything's on, I'll just go around tightening up all the little screws just to make sure nothing moves. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and you'll be updated with all my future builds, and of course including the build log for this one. Hit that like button and leave a comment, and also don't forget to share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.